Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that every single decision you've made up until this point, every job you took, every relationship you stayed in, every dream you quietly buried, was never really yours. It was chosen for you, shaped by other people's voices, other people's fears, other people's version of what your life should look like. And the terrifying part? You didn't even notice it happening. That is where most people are right now. Not lost because of bad luck. Lost because they stopped listening to the one voice that actually matters, their own. What you're about to hear could change the direction of your entire life. Stay with me. My name doesn't matter right now. What matters is the story I'm about to tell you, because somewhere inside it, you're going to find yourself. And if this kind of content speaks to you, the kind that cuts through the noise and gets real, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Because every week we put out videos designed to wake something up inside you. Not motivate you for 10 minutes and then fade. Wake you up permanently. Hit subscribe and let's get into it. There was a young man who grew up in a neighborhood where everyone around him had the same dream. Get a steady job, don't make waves, be safe. He watched his father come home every evening with tired eyes and a quiet resignation that nobody in the house dared to speak about out loud. His mother worked double shifts so there would be food on the table and shoes on his feet. They loved him. They gave him everything they could. But the message underneath all of it, the invisible message, was this: don't reach too high because falling hurts. And so he didn't reach. For years, he didn't reach. He went to school, he got decent grades, he made friends who were exactly like him, comfortable, cautious, careful. And by the time he was 22 years old, he had built himself a life that looked perfectly fine from the outside and felt completely hollow from the inside. You might know exactly what that feels like. Here's the thing about comfort: it's seductive. It doesn't attack you. It doesn't scream at you. It just slowly, quietly wraps itself around you like a warm blanket on a cold night until one day you realize you can't move anymore and you've forgotten why you ever wanted to. Comfort is the great enemy of a meaningful life, not because it feels bad, but because it feels just good enough to keep you from building something great. That young man I told you about, his name was Marcus, and the morning everything changed for him. Nothing dramatic happened. No car crash, no rock bottom moment the way movies like to show it. He just woke up on a Tuesday, made his coffee, sat down at his kitchen table and looked out the window. And in that ordinary, unremarkable silence, something cracked open inside of him. A question surfaced from somewhere deep, from a place he had stopped visiting years ago. The question was simple and devastating at the same time. Is this actually my life, or did I just fall into it? That question is more powerful than any advice anyone can ever give you, because the moment you ask it honestly, truly honestly, you can't go back to sleep. Marcus couldn't. He sat at that table for 2 hours. He was late for work, and for the first time in years, he didn't care. He was trying to find something. He was trying to remember who he was before the world told him who to be. He was thinking about a kid who used to draw buildings on the back of cereal boxes, a kid who would spend entire Saturday afternoons sketching skylines and bridges from his imagination, a kid who once told his third-grade teacher he wanted to design cities. And she smiled the way adults smile when a child says something sweet and impossible. And that was the end of it. No one encouraged him. No one said keep going. The dream got filed away and covered over with more practical things. But it was still there. 20 years later, sitting at a kitchen table with a cold cup of coffee, it was still there, waiting. Here is what most people never understand about their deepest passions and gifts. They don't disappear. You can ignore them. You can bury them under years of people-pleasing and paycheck chasing. You can tell yourself you're being responsible, being realistic, being smart. But that thing inside you, that thing you were genuinely built for, it doesn't go anywhere. It waits. It is patient in a way that you are not. And every now and then, in the silence between the noise of your busy life, it sends you a signal, a feeling, a memory, a moment like Marcus had at that kitchen table. And the question is never whether the signal arrives. The question is whether you're brave enough to receive it. Marcus made a decision that Tuesday morning that most people never make, not because they're incapable of it, but because it requires something deeply uncomfortable. It requires honesty. He decided to stop pretending that the life he had built was the life he actually wanted. He didn't quit his job that day. He didn't do anything reckless, but he made a quiet, private, fierce commitment to himself. I am going to find my way back. I don't know how yet. I don't know when. But I am going back to that kid who drew cities on cereal boxes, and I am going to figure out what he was trying to tell me. That was the beginning. And the beginning, as you will learn, is always the hardest and most important part. He started small. After work, instead of turning on the television the way he had every night for the past 4 years, he sat at his desk and he drew. Just sketches at first, rough, awkward, embarrassing. He hadn't drawn in so long that his hands felt clumsy. His lines were uneven, the proportions were wrong, and he kept going, night after night. Not because he was good, but because it felt like breathing after holding your breath for 2 decades. There is a specific kind of relief that comes when you stop fighting who you are and you simply start being it. It is quiet and enormous at the same time. Marcus felt it in those late night hours while his phone sat silent and the rest of the world was asleep. He was finally, genuinely awake. Months passed. He enrolled in a weekend architecture course at a community college. He was 10 years older than most of the other students. Some of them were 20 years old, drawing with the effortless confidence of people who had never been told to stop. He felt out of place. He felt slow. He felt at moments completely ridiculous, a grown man in a beginner's class, starting over from scratch. And then something happened that changed his perspective entirely. His instructor, a sharp, quietly intense woman named Dr. Patterson, looked at one of his sketches one evening. She studied it for a long moment without saying anything. And then she said, "You see things other people don't see. That's not something I can teach. Don't lose it." 7 words that cracked his chest wide open, because they confirmed something he had been afraid to believe. That what made him different wasn't a flaw, it was the whole point. That is the lesson that takes most people an entire lifetime to learn, and some of them never learn it at all. What makes you strange is what makes you powerful. The things about you that don't fit neatly into the box, your way of seeing, your unusual taste, your unconventional ideas, the thoughts you've been too afraid to say out loud because you were scared people would look at you sideways, those are not problems to be solved. They are gifts to be developed. The world has more than enough ordinary. It is starving for genuine. And the only way to offer genuine is to stop apologizing for being exactly who you are.